नमस्कार दोस्तों, स्वागत है आपका के न्यूज़ 24/7 में। तो चलिए देखते हैं आज की हेडलाइंस। डोंट मेक पॉलिटिक्स आउट ऑफ विनायक चतुर्थी। मद्रास हाई कोर्ट refuses permission for political parties procession. The Madras High Court on Wednesday strongly criticized a political party plea seeking protection and permission to celebrate Vinayaka Chaturthi by installing Vinayagar idol and carrying out processions. Justice Anand Venkatesh criticized the political parties seeking police permission to carry out such processions without actually doing anything for the public. The court added that such issues are causing more public nuisance and also added that the police had much more productive work to do than provide protection for such political interest. The judge also questioned why political parties were seeking permission for such processions when Vinayak Nagar himself never asked to carry out such processions. Vinayagar never asked to carry out such processions. He can himself make his own political party, the judge said, while adding that these were his own opinions. The court was dealing with a petition filed by M. Rajendran, State Organization Committee General Secretary of the Hindu Makkal Kachi Party in Tamil Nadu. He submitted that one of the objectives of the party was to maintain the traditional customs of the Hindu religion and safeguard the interest of the people, and such as the party had planned to conduct the Vinayaka Chaturthi festival in Anur Union, Karmandi Union and Sri Mugai areas under the guidance and advice of founder and state president of Hindu Makkal Kachi. Joe Biden keeps troubled son hunter close despite political backlash. If US President Joe Biden has ever worried about the effect his son Hunter's trouble could have on his 2024 re-election bid, he never showed it. Hunter Biden's history of controversial business deals, drugs and women has long made him a target for the elder Biden's Republican enemies. That culminated in the opening of a House impeachment inquiry against the president on Tuesday. But if some see Hunter as the black sheep of America's first family, the 80-year-old Joe Biden has resolutely stood by his sole surviving son against a backdrop of tragedy. My son's done nothing wrong. I trust him. I have faith in him, Biden said in an interview earlier this year about tax and gun charges against the 53-year-old Hunter. Asked how Hunter problems could affect his presidency, Biden replied, "It impacts my presidency by making me proud of him." P.P. Mukundan, BJP architect of covert anti-communist political alliance in 1990s, passes away at 77. Senior Bharatiya Janata Party BJP leader P.P. Mukundan, 77, widely reckoned as the architect of an arguably covert and purported anti-communist electoral alliance with the Congress and the Indian Union Muslim League in Kerala in the 1990s, passed away at a private hospital in Kochi on Wednesday. Doctors attributed the cause of his death to a respiratory illness. Mr. Mukundan, a bachelor, cut his political teeth as a Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh (RSS) activist in the Kannur district in the early 90s. The resistive period saw a spurt in tit-for-tat violence between the Communist Party of India Marxist and RSS cadres in a viscerally politicized North Kerala region. The brutal inter-party violence in Kannur, characterized by waylayings, ambushes, arson and high-profile murders, would frame Mr. Mukundan's political outlook. At the time, the BJP was an electoral non-entity in a state with no Lok Sabha, Legislative Assembly or local body representation. The party acutely felt it had no pulpit to vocalize its views against CPIM violence. A persistently painful feeling of being wounded promoted BJP leaders like Mr. Mukundan to find a tactile electoral ally in the Congress and IUML to hold out against CPIM aggregation. The BJP direly needed its views to be heard in the assembly, at least by proxy. It held the BJP that K. Karunkaran, a professed anti-communist and shrewd tactician, sat at the apex of the Congress organization in Kerala in the 1990s. India's first public meet in Bhopal in October panel to start seat sharing process. The opposition alliance India will hold its first public meeting in Madhya Pradesh, Bhopal in the first week of October. This announcement came after the India Bloc's Coordination Committee held its first meeting on Wednesday. According to a joint statement issued by the opposition alliance, the public meeting will focus on the issue of rising prices, unemployment and corruption of the BJP government. The meeting of the 14-member panel of the opposition took place at the residence of Nationalist Congress Party NCP President Sharad Pawar in Delhi. The coordination committee also discussed various issues including seat sharing for the upcoming 2024 Lok Sabha elections. The committee decided to begin talks among member parties to determine the seat sharing formula based on the performance of parties in past elections and strength of the largest party in each state. India's Kerala shut schools and offices to curb deadly Nipah virus. India's southern state of Kerala shut some schools, offices and public transport on Wednesday in a race to stop the spread of the rare and deadly Nipah virus, which was killed 2 people. An adult and a child were still infected in hospital and more than 130 people have been tested for the virus, spread via contact with the bodily fluids of infected bats, pigs or people, a state health official said. We are focusing on tracing contacts of infected persons early and isolating anyone with symptoms, said the state health minister Veena George, who told reporters the virus detected in Kerala was the Bangladesh variant which spread from human to human with a high mortality rate but has a history of being less infectious. Public movement has been restricted in parts of the state to contain the medical crisis, she said. 2 infected people have died since August 30 in a state 4th outbreak of the virus since 2018, forcing authorities to declare contaminated zone in at least 7 villages in the districts of Kozhikode. Strict isolation rules have been adopted with medical staff being quarantined after contact with the infected. The first victim was a small landholder growing bananas and areca nuts in the district village of Mattukonokara, said a government official who reacted the declare Himachal crisis a national disaster. Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi urges central government. Congress leader and AICC General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi, who is visiting the flood-affected areas of Himachal Pradesh, visited the Shiv temple in Shimla's Summer Hill, where a landslide on August 14 killed 20 people, and said that it would help the state if the central government would declare the Himachal crisis a national disaster. Visiting the temple with Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Sukhwinder Singh Suku and other state ministers, Gandhi took note of the situation and to meet the families of the victims. Speaking to reporters, she said, "The situation is very painful. People have suffered a great loss. We said yesterday to that everyone has to face this together. Veera to be deployed on national highways in futures. The state first vehicle to help rescue accident victims trapped inside their vehicle for extrication in emergency rescue and accident. Veera will be engaged in Chennai city, Tambaram and Avadi police limits as of now. Its operation will be expanded to cover the national highways in future, said Greater Chennai Police Commissioner Sandeep Rai Rathod. Demonstrating Veera on Tuesday, Rathod said the city police would discuss with IITM and Highways Department to expand the scope of the Veera project. During the demo, trained police and fire service personnel showed metal doors are quickly cut open and the victim rescued. The vehicles manned by 12 personnel has a spreader, electric winch, circular saw, pneumatic lifting bags and stabilization tool among other tools. Engage in an in-depth analysis of anti-national narratives, Vice President. The Vice President of India, Jagdeep Dhankar, on Wednesday said that everyone must engage in an in-depth analysis of anti-national narratives and unwholesome parliamentary practices where the discussion, debate, dialogue and deliberation and respect for other people's opinions could take place. Speaking at the inauguration of the renovated library of the Indian Council of World Affairs at the Sapru House, New Delhi, the Vice President said that we cannot afford disturbance to be weaponized as a political India has to rise. It is with great pain I indicate to you because you have to examine global affairs proceedings of the Senate, Congress, House of Commons. In our own Constituent Assembly, there were dialogues, debates, deliberation, and discussion, but no disruption, no disturbance. Now, when India is rising, can we afford disturbance to be weaponized as a political power? We cannot, Dhankar said. Now, in the country, the wisest will come to know only about the Constituent Assembly, but you will have a view. You can pick up 20 countries. Does slogan shouting happens there? Do they show placards? Dhankar said, taking a dig at the opposition parties' protest in the last session of the parliament over the Manipur issue. 5 die of scrub typhus infection in Odisha. Bargarh Chief District Medical and Public Health Officer Sadhucharan Das said that 142 samples were tested for scrub typhus detected in the district between September 1 and 10. Of these, 4 were found positive and all are now doing fine. At least 5 people in Odisha died in a month due to scrub typhus infection, which spread through bites of infected chiggers, larval mites, and officials said on Wednesday. While 2 of the deceased were from Sohela block, Atabira, Behdan, and Barpali blocks of Bargarh district, reported one such death case, each said Bargarh Chief District Medical and Public Health Officer Sadhu Charan Das. Those who died of the infection were diagnosed in hospitals outside the district, he said, adding that 2 cases were detected in Burla Medical College, 2 others in a private hospital and another in a Bolangir hospital. Temperature at Bhitarkanika National Park may rise by 2 degrees Celsius by 2050. A vulnerability and risk assessment mapping of Bhitarkanika National Park in Odisha has predicted that the average temperature there may rise between 1.9 degrees Celsius and 2.1 degrees Celsius by 2050, thus impacting the habitat of the saltwater crocodiles and olive ridley sea turtles, its 2 prominent fauna. The report, prepared by International Climate Initiative GIZ with support from the Odisha government, said the average temperature in Bhitarkanika, a designated Ramsar site, may rise between 1.9 degrees Celsius and 2.1 degrees Celsius, taking 1960 and 1999 as the baseline period. The report says that the summer temperature there may go up to from 33.5 degrees Celsius to 35.6 degrees Celsius in the year 2050. Summer will be an extreme season with limited rainfall and high temperature, which will place stress on forest and associated species, the report said. The report said in 2050, the total rainfall is likely to increase by 3.9%. During the June-October period, the rainfall will rise by 48.3 mm from 1262.2 mm to 1301 mm in 2050. This increase will be more pronounced in the upstream areas, almost by 11%. However, during summer, it may drop by 8.2%. ऐसे ही और न्यूज़ को जानने के लिए जुड़े रहिए के न्यूज़ 24/7 के साथ.